Greetings and welcome to ValoU. I'm Zaladrith and I'll be your instructor for today. Today's class is Agents 100, Intro to Agent Roles. Before we dive in, I want to clarify the difference between agent roles and in-game roles. Agent roles purely describe how an agent's abilities are better suited for a specific playstyle. An in-game role, however, can be filled by any agent, regardless of whether the agent's abilities are suited for it or not. For instance, even Sentinels can entry frag, though Duelists are better suited for it. And while Initiators technically can lurk, you're usually better off leaving that to a Sentinel or a Controller. In-game roles will be for another class. For this class, we'll describe the 4 agent role classifications provided by the game, and how they can be played to their potential. The first role we'll cover is Sentinels. Simply put, the primary purpose of a Sentinel's utility is to make it riskier or more expensive for the enemy team to take map control. For instance, Sage's Wall physically denies map control to the enemy team, and forces enemies to pay in time if they don't shoot it, or to pay in positional information and possibly ammo if they do shoot it. Even sections of the wall create cover and a narrower choke point, unless more of it is destroyed, which takes even more time and ammo. Similarly, Sage's Slow forces enemies to pay in time if enemies wait for it or silent walk through it, or in sound information if they try to run through it, as well as increasing risk of death through maneuverability disadvantage that leaves them sitting ducks for gunfire or other utility like Raze's grenades. Chamber may be a controversial Sentinel, but it makes perfect sense that his teleport earmarks him as a Sentinel because the anchor is positional in nature. The teleport basically gives Chamber a second life as long as he stays in one area of the map, virtually bolstering the area's defense as if it had an extra player. More importantly, it also allows Chamber to play unexpected off angles, one-and-done angles, and height-elevated angles without penalty, creating much greater risk for the enemy entering the area, as crosshair placement becomes less effective on him, and trading kills becomes ineffective against him. Perhaps the closest role to Sentinels are Controllers. Controller utility slices the map into temporarily separated zones by increasing the cost of moving between them, which is an advantage that can be used by either team. The simplest example is a hollow omen smoke in a choke point, which is a common smoke for defenders to place. This creates 3 separate zones of control. One is the far side of the smoke, which is surrendered to the attacking team, the inside of the smoke, which now must be contested, and the close side of the smoke, which is held by the defenders. Moving between any of these 3 zones becomes more dangerous as the smoke persists on your screen for a few extra moments while passing through, leaving you an easy target for someone defending the new zone. Viper smokes also decay opponents as they pass, and harbor smokes slow, adding further penalties to zone changing. Next up are Initiators. Initiator utility helps teammates more safely take map control away from the enemy. Sova Drone, for instance, lets you check dangerous close corners for enemies, which is much cheaper than risking a teammate's life to do so, and spotted enemies can be flushed out much more safely with utility. Breach, Stun, and Flash temporarily impairs enemies in an area, making it easier to contest and take that space. Last up are Duelists. Duelists are interesting because they're very similar to Initiators, but Duelist utility helps the agent risk their own bodies and use their guns to take map control away from the enemy. Jet, for instance, has short duration smokes to shield angles from possible enemies for a few seconds needed for a gunfight, and a dash to get her either to safety or to move her to a more aggressive location, essentially creating a brand new point of entry for the team that the defenders will need to protect against. Since Duelist utility is usually time-gated or helps them survive, they're usually best suited for entry fragging, where you choose the terms of the fight. Now that we're familiar with roles, it's also clear that some agent kits tend towards other roles in addition to their primary one. For instance, due to the semi-permanent nature of Viper's smokes, she leans a little bit towards the Sentinel role of locking down areas. And while Raze double satcheling onto a site is very Duelist-like, the way her boombot can be used for checking corners from a distance is suspiciously Initiator-like. However, in general, the primary strengths of an agent's kit will benefit the printed agent role the most. In summary, agent roles provided by the game like Duelist and Sentinel are different from in-game roles like entry fragging and lurking. Sentinel utility is good at making space expensive for enemies to take. Controller utility is good at dividing space into temporary zones that can be taken by either team. Initiator utility is good at making space easier for your team to take. Duelist utility is good at letting the user risk their own bodies to take space with their guns. And finally, while agents have a main role, their kits often tend towards other unstated sub-roles. That's all for today's lesson. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to the lecturer or the TAs in the comments below. Thanks for attending, and we hope you enjoy your stay here at ValoU.